What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing the top 10 defenses for the 2021 NFL season. I did the offenses, I did power rankings, and then we're going to be doing defenses, we're going to be doing coaches, and we're going to be doing a 2022 way too early mock draft. So stay tuned for all those videos. But I hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's get into it. Started off, we got the honorable mentions. We didn't do these in the offensive video. But first, you got the Chicago Bears. I think the Chicago Bears could be a top 10 defense, but the reason why they're not up here is because of their secondary. I mean, it's just not great. They still do have Eddie Jackson, who is controversially a Pro Bowl safety, but they still need work at corner. Jalen Johnson isn't a number one corner, at least right now. And the Bears, I like their front seven, but they're getting older, and Khalil Mack is regressing. Khalil Mack is for sure not the same player that he was in 2019, and I know that he's still getting serviceable 8-sack seasons, great 8-sack seasons, but it's just not the same Khalil Mack we all remember. That's just dominating DPOY candidate. Two, Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, very underrated defense. Not a lot of big names other than Xavier Howard, and Byron Jones. But I think the Miami Dolphins deserve to be up here, at least as an honorable mention. I mean, they were one of the best defenses last season. And then three, the New York Giants, a very underrated defense. I just don't think it's good enough to be top 10. Same thing with the Buffalo Bills and New Orleans Saints. They still got a great defense, but it's really regressing due to age. I mean, Cameron Jordan isn't the same. Demario Davis is getting older, and then cornerback is a desperate need. That's why they're not up here. So number 10 is the Green Bay Packers. My reasoning for this is because the Packers have them and the Bears are two teams that need to. I think they're just like a remodel of the Bears, but with a better secondary. I mean, you got Jair Alexander, of course, back there, and then you got Adrian Amos, Kevin King, Eric Stokes they brought in. But in the front seven, they got Zadarius Smith, they got Preston Smith, they got Kenny Clark. They got a good front seven, and that's really why they are at 10. 9 is the Cleveland Browns, possibly the most improved defense, as they took Greg Newsome at pick 26 in the draft and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who controversially could have been a first-round pick, and he should have been a first-round pick, but he fell to pick 52 for the Browns. And then they brought in Jadeveon Clowney. They also brought in John Johnson and Troy Hill. So the Browns' defense is definitely getting better, and that's why they're on this list. Number 8 is the Minnesota Vikings. The main thing for the Minnesota Vikings last year was injuries. They didn't have Michael Pierce. They didn't have Danielle Hunter the whole year. They didn't have Eric Kendricks. And now they are having a revamped defense that's healthy. They got Michael Pierce. They got Eric Kendricks. They got Danielle Hunter. They got Patrick Peterson they brought in. So they got a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think they get enough recognition, but I think the Vikings, if they can stay healthy on defense, are going to be a big threat. 7 is the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, you got the defensive mastermind and Frank Reich, who's a very good defensive coach, and you got just a lot of under the radar names on that defense, and that's why it's considered one of the most underrated defenses in the league. I mean, you got Malik Hooker, Kenny Moore, Rock Ya-Sin, Xavier Rhodes. I think he's still on that team in the secondary. And then up front, you got Darius Leonard, Jabal Sheard. They used to have Danico Autry. But Darius Leonard, the main thing, is run support, pass coverage, linebacker, very underrated. And I think the Colts deserve to be up here at 7. 6 is New England Patriots. All right, people may question me for this, but my reasoning is because the Patriots, in Tom Brady's last season there in 2019, the Patriots had possibly the best defense in the league. They definitely had top 3, probably up there with the Steelers and 49ers, it was also Stephon Gilmore's Defensive Player of the Year campaign, and the Patriots just were in a really good position. In 2020, although they had a lot of losses, I mean, they still had the mastermind, defensive mastermind, in Bill Belichick, but they lost the other defensive mastermind, Matt Patricia, um, for that season. Or no, that was the year before. But they lost Kyle Van Noy, they lost Jamie Collins, they lost Danny Shelton, they lost Deron Harmon. They lost who else? They lost just a lot of talent, and I think it's going to make a big difference. They're getting Van Noy, they got a Judon, they got Jalen Mills, they got Devon Godchaux, they got Christian Barmore, they got Ronnie Perkins. They got all these talented playmakers on the defensive side of the ball that will help it. And I don't think it's top five, but I definitely think it's definitely top 10. Five is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the 49ers, pretty much all their stars were back by week 9, if you look at it, except for Nick Bosa. But I think the thing about the 49ers is that their front seven is bulky. They got a lot of talent up there. They got Eric Armstead, they got Nick Bosa, they got Dee Ford, and Fred Warner. If they can stay healthy, it's going to be a top defense. It's just the secondary. It's not the same secondary. Sadly, Richard Sherman is regressing. He's regressing bad. And then you got who else? Emmanuel Mosley. I mean, he really just hasn't been able to stand out as a 49er. So I think the secondary is throwing me off, and that's why they're not top 3. But the front seven for sure amazing. 4 is the Washington. Oh, and they lost their defensive mastermind, Robert Saleh, to the New York Jets. He was one of the big reasons why their defensive scheme was so good. 4 is the Washington football team. I mean, the Washington football team would be in one of the best situations if they didn't take Chase Young and they took Justin Herbert. But Chase Young, I think, is going to get better and better. I could see Chase Young being in the Pro Bowl this season. But you got Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, Chase Young. Got a lot of talent up there on the front seven. The secondary, you also got, they added William Jackson. They added Jamin Davis in the draft. You got Cameron Curl. You got Landon Collins. You got a lot of talent back there all around the field for the Washington football team. I definitely think it's going to be a top 5 defense. 3 is the LA Rams. I mean, the LA Rams are just the defense. I think the main thing about the LA Rams is they don't have depth at the defensive position, but they still have a great team. They brought back Leonard Floyd, but they lost Michael Brockers. They lost John Johnson and Troy Hill. So now it's just really been the two of the best defensive players in the league, Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. But I think when you have those two players, of course you have a top 5 defense, and you have enough depth to be a top 5 defense. I mean, they got Sebastian Joseph Day. They got enough to last into it in the top 3. 2 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, the Steelers, you can say all you want. They have one of the best defenses in the league, all right? The Steelers will never be a bad team, and that's a Patriots fan saying that. But you look at the Steelers, I mean, they got TJ Watt, who controversially should have won the DPOY, but I think he will win it in the future. Got TJ Watt up there, Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, in secondary, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Devin Bush is returning. I mean, Devin Bush, I'm very excited to see. But you got Minkah Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, Steven Nelson, and it's just such a great defense. And they also got Avery Williamson, such a great defense. Just number 1, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers, they proved to everyone that they have the best defense in the league in the playoffs. All right, you got the front seven is lethal. All right, they have the best front seven in the league. I don't know about the secondary, probably not. But the front seven, you got JPP, Shaq Barrett, Levante David, Devin White, Vita Vea, Ndamukong Suh. You got all these talent at the front seven that's just adding up together to create this scary, just like the logo, a scary defense. You also got Joe Tyrone and Anthony Nelson, who are both developing. And it's a really good team. The secondary, Antoine Winfield, could be in the running for DPOY. You never know. And then you got a good secondary, Jamel Dean. You got Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment if you want to see top 10 coaches next or top 10 special teams. I've already made the top 10 coaches, so stay tuned for that video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.